This is a presentation that was shared at iLearn97 Information Night. Much of this information can also be found in the iLearn97 Parent Handbook. A link to the handbook was sent earlier this week through School Messenger. You can also find this manual on the District 97 website. Here's a roadmap of the topics that we'll be covering during this presentation. Here are the main goals for the iLearn97 program. So what is iLearn97? iLearn97 is the name we have given to the district's initiative to put individual technology devices in the hands of all of our students. Technology has many benefits to offer education, but those benefits can't be realized when teachers and students have to plan ahead for use, to reserve a lab or cart, and possibly go somewhere else in the building. A one-to-one initiative has been part of our district's 5-year technology plan, and we've been able to get started on that this year. Your 5th graders are now our vanguard group, but 4th graders will be getting devices shortly after spring break, and our plans call for students in grades 3 to 8 to have devices in the 2014-15 school year. A school messenger message was sent at the beginning of this week with a link to the iLearn handbook. We hope you've had a chance to look at it already. We're hitting the main points in this presentation. So first of all, what are our goals for this program? They're identified on this slide. Our goals are to increase student achievement through the successful implementation of a one-to-one initiative, to create and provide supported and equitable opportunities for student learning with technology tools to enhance the learning experiences and goals, to implement a successful technology professional development program that enhances confidence in technology pedagogy, to continuously evaluate technology initiatives, programs, and infrastructure. We've done a lot of research prior to taking this step, and we're drawing on the experiences of many other districts nearby and across the country that have already implemented programs like this. It's important to note that this is not a technology initiative, but rather a teaching and learning initiative. We are putting technology devices into the hands of every student throughout the school day and at home because we believe this will have the following benefits. It will provide more equitable access to the power of technology for all of our students. It will redefine both teaching and learning with an emphasis on providing 21st century skills. It will increase student interest and engagement in their education. It will facilitate the development of a more personalized learning environment in which students are more active participants in their learning and teachers serve more as facilitators of learning. It will provide students with a variety of authentic tools to create, communicate, collaborate, and think critically. It will make it easier for teachers to collect ongoing feedback to guide student learning, and it will allow teachers to be more efficient in the daily practices of sharing materials, making assignments, and assessing student progress. It will allow us to redefine and transform learning and focus on the 4 C's: creativity, collaboration, communication, and critical thinking. It's important for you to know about the preparation teachers and students have done up to this point. Teachers have participated in professional development on institute days and during staff and grade level meeting time. They've also worked with data and technology coaches during their planning times as we prepared to introduce the devices to students. Students have participated in Digital Citizenship Week, and they've also gone through a boot camp. Boot camps were held for 1 week at each school to help students understand digital citizenship and the responsibilities that are involved in having a one-to-one device. Here are some of the activities students participated in during boot camp. As you can see, they learned how to care for their device, they learned all about the device, they took a survey to figure out how much technology they were using prior to this and what their attitudes about technology were, and then they covered topics such as internet safety, a review of our acceptable use policy, and they also learned to work with our core apps that are available on all the devices for education. Throughout boot camp, we emphasized to students that they'd be using these devices differently than they might be using a personal device at home. The emphasis on our one-to-one iPads in school is on teaching and learning and on using the devices to share what they've learned and to research, to dig deeper into some of the topics they're exploring in school. Now it's time to prepare our families for the next step when students begin taking the devices home to support their learning. Here are some of the samples of student work that's been created since we introduced the iPads. Your child should be able to share his or her work with you when you bring the devices home. Here's a list of the core apps that are available on the student iPads. A description of each of these apps is available in the iLearn Parent Handbook. You'll notice that these apps are not subject specific. In fact, they can be used with any subject. The focus is on the 4 C's: creating, collaborating, communicating, and critical thinking. We chose these apps based on their ability to support the 4 C's and also through conversations with other districts. One of the greatest benefits of a one-to-one initiative is that students have readily available tools for research. We've connected with the Oak Park Public Library and added links to their tools right on the student iPad. There you will also find a link to Encyclopedia Britannica online. We're teaching students how to search, how to evaluate credible information, and how to cite sources. When students are at school, Google Safe Search is enabled to filter out undesirable results. And we're working closely with our teacher librarians to make sure students learn to research correctly. When the iPads go home, the students will be able to extend their learning at school to home, and you might see a new kind of homework. The amount of homework shouldn't change significantly, but it will be different. Some homework may require students to be on the internet, but most of the assignments should be things students can do locally on their iPads without internet access. If you don't have internet access and would like to learn more about getting affordable internet access, please contact your school office for a flyer that was distributed at iLearn Information Night. In addition, we're working to put together a list of places around town that have free Wi-Fi access and are willing to have families come there to work. We hope you will enjoy watching your students create this new kind of homework. If you do have internet access, students should be able to connect their Wi-Fi device to your network fairly easily through settings. If you have trouble with this, please contact your internet service provider. You can also find more detailed information about connecting to your wireless network in the iLearn97 Parent Handbook. You can also contact them to find out how to restrict internet access on your home internet. You may or may not be aware of the search history that's available in our Safari web browser found on the iPad. The search history keeps a record of websites that students have visited, and students have been asked not to delete their search history. Occasionally, looking through the search history with your student can help you both understand what types of websites you've been visiting, and your students should be able to tell you why they visited each of the websites for learning during the school day. Please remind students periodically that they are not to delete the search history. During our Bootcamp week, all students participated in activities about our acceptable use policy. Students wrote the AUP in their own words, and they worked in groups to role play some scenarios to determine whether their activity was appropriate or not according to our acceptable use policy. Basically, we made sure that students clearly understand that the iPad is used for schoolwork and educational purposes, and that they are expected to act appropriately with care and respect towards their iPad. They're not allowed to bully, they're not allowed to use inappropriate language, they can't add their own apps, and they can't sync to their home computer. To put it simply, students are not able to sign into their iPad with any account other than their school-issued Google Docs account. This includes signing into their personal email and also signing into the App Store. You may already have rules in your home regarding screen time and technology, so it might seem daunting to try to set boundaries on this new piece of technology that your child will soon be taking home. We understand the challenges that this places on the parent. That's why we've taken our time when introducing the iPads to the students, and we've clearly stated how students are expected to use the device. To help ease the transition from home to school, we think it's a great idea to use Common Sense Media's Family Tablet Contract to create a dialogue between you and your child regarding the boundaries that you wish to set. This will be part of your child's homework the week we send the iPads home. A copy of this document will be sent home for you and your student. More information can also be found on the Common Sense Media website. We've spent a lot of time during boot camp helping our students learn how to to take care of their iPad. And here you can see some of the main features to note. Students should always bring their iPad to and from school in a backpack. They should never try to take off the case for any reason, and they should make sure to keep it locked up when it's not in use. iPads don't work well in extreme temperatures, so it shouldn't be left in a car overnight to get too hot or too cold. Students are expected to bring their iPad to school each day that's been charged. They'll be bringing the charger home, and it should remain there. It is suggested that you and your child set up a regular routine for charging the device, and that you set aside a spot for doing so. This will avoid problems associated with losing the charger or with damaging the charger. The cost for a replacement charger is $40, but that shouldn't be necessary if you set up the proper procedures. It's a good idea to get used to charging your iPad at home every night. Apple has some built-in supports to make these devices not very valuable to a thief. When an iPad is lost or stolen, we can activate a feature that requires anyone to sign in with an Apple ID, and we can erase the apps and the information that's stored on the iPad. In conversations with other districts, we found the number of devices that have been lost or stolen have been extremely minimal. Our neighboring community, Berwyn, has a one-to-one initiative in kindergarten through 8th grade, and all students bring their devices home. Here is information about our technology fee. We hope you will review it carefully in the iLearn97 Handbook. Since we're starting this initiative midway through the year, we're collecting fees now, but at the start of the next year, you can expect to pay this fee at the start of the school year with all the other school fees. We do understand that accidents happen, and while we expect your child to take the best care possible of his one-to-one learning device, if an accident should happen, you'll notice that the cost for the first accident is $0. After that, you can see the other fees that will be assessed if its child continuously damages or loses the device. We don't expect this will happen. This concludes the end of the online presentation. The next step is to return to the form and complete the questions that you find there. Once you complete the form, click the Submit button to turn it in. Thank you for taking the time to learn more about iLearn97.